And we're back. Okay, so this is our tutorial for the barony stats. And again, notice that there are different things. So there's population that's controlled by the regent, loyalty that's controlled by our counselor that we'll hire. These are advisors, by the way. Military, controlled by the general. Economy, controlled by the treasurer. Divine, high priest. Relations, grand diplomat, and on it goes. Now, we will only be able to fill 4 positions, technically 5. And the reason for the 5 is because we have hired a merc. That doesn't mean the merc will be good at it, but for the time being, if I needed to, I could slap that mercenary in a job, which is kind of weird because normally you only get 4 advisors. So we're technically ahead of the curve in that regard, but it's still probably a bad idea. If you can not put them in there, you probably should not put them in there. Stats increase if your governance is successful and decrease if events don't end well or other negative factors are placed in your way. Don't let your barony stats drop to 0 or lower. This will cause your subjects to riot and your state will begin to crumble. This is what happened to me in my last playthrough. Each stat has certain milestones or ranks within them. Every 20 points in a stat, 20 in a stat, will increase your rank. Rank 1 unlocks a corresponding advisor position for that stat. So basically, if you have other advisors that you want to unlock, remember there's 10 total, then you really want to focus on stuff that gets those stats up to 20 so it can become rank 1. You'll see that in a bit. Further development of the stat and upgrades to its ranks will be possible only if you have an advisor in the relevant position, which of course we're about to place. Governing your barony will require 1 advisor for each stat. You may appoint your companions as well as some of the Stoneland citizens. So again, Jihad, who literally is a priest, can be our main priest if we want him to be. Could be Tristan, could be Hiram, so you will have options. And they all rule their little kingdom part, their advisor part, different. So Hiram will suggest this because he's Mr. Doom and Gloom, and Jihad will be all about Aristil, Aristil, Aristil. It'll annoy the hell out of you. But many are very good, some are straight up bad. Feel free to look online for who makes good advisors for various positions, in my opinion. And you will, spoiler alert, lose advisors. People will die, people will quit. It's going to be a thing. So know that you have an option to slop someone else in there. And we will even find people on the open road. Say, hey, you're an evil denizen from hell who happens to be priest from hell. You want to be my priest from hell? Sure. It makes no sense to me why you would do this because you just kicked his ass. But hey, whatever. If you're playing an evil playthrough and you want to have an all-evil advisory board, you can do so, is my point. It's kind of cool. See, none of these characters will be willing to serve you right away. Again, that's another point. Some of them will need to be convinced. Appointing others will require completing an assignment for them or rendering some other service, like kicking his teeth down his throat. Every advisor acts as their own ideology, so basically their own alignment kind of dictates what they do. They have their own opinions on everything that happens in your domain. Therefore, you may want to select characters whose governance philosophy is consistent with your own. Remember, you don't want to piss them off. So the more they are to do something that you would agree to, it's easier because you're going to do what they want and then it makes them happy. Or you can just say, yeah, do what you want. And they'll, again, still be happy. Open the advisor tab on the right of the screen. Click an empty slot and select a character to appoint them as an advisor. Every barony stat gains a bonus from a specific ability of the appointed advisor. The exact size of the bonus is indicated in the upper right corner of the advisor's card. Now, again, online, you can find out on Google, Wikipedia, whatever for this game, what the stat is. For instance, Valerie can be in charge of a variety of things. This is the tower shield specialist fighter of our team. Valerie's great at that. The stat that she would use for almost all those, I think all of them, matter of fact, is charisma. And her charisma is a 15. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. The point I'm making is this. If you want her to be better at her job right away, give her stuff that buffs her charisma. Some is intelligence. Some is strength. You know, like if you want the warden or the captain of the guard, they have to be strong characters. So again, they give you suggestions. You know, Rigangar is a fine example of one that, again, if you build him to be strong, he just is going to get better and better and better, which is freaking awesome. So you get the idea. Only advisors may address the problems, opportunities, and sudden events that occur in your domain and require immediate attention. Don't leave these positions vacant, and that's your clue to hire advisors ASAP. Now we can rename our stolen lands, our kingdom, to whatever we want. So what are we going to call this place? Doraville, Dorashore, Donashore, let's see, we're going to say Betchawana Land. Always like Betchawana Land. Let's go ahead, Betchawana Land. We're going to be Bet You Wanna. Bet You Wanna Rule My Kingdom. Settlement map. Okay, so now this is our map, overland map. Okay, now notice that we have the high extreme gold is our kingdom, the Shrike Hills. Okay, that's what we're in here, the Shrike. So this is our kingdom. Notice we're on a couple river point and a nice little lake. We're attached to the Canelands and the South Gnarl Marches, which is where we'll probably spend most of our time, as well as a decent amount of time in the North Gnarl Marches. Eventually the Dire Gnarl Marches. We will be purchasing or acquiring, however you want to think of it, the outskirts. This is where Oleg is. And that's the uppermost border. And then here's Varnhold. Remember him, he's our buddy. Dunsword is his area, so I don't understand why he says he's in charge of Dunsword, because he's actually in charge of Varnhold. Dunsword's right next to him. Then there's, of course, Silver Step, which is a nice area. And then, of course, the Tours of Levinese. I'm not sure I said that wrong. That's a nasty area, so end contents, towards the end, I should say. The real towards the end is going to be stuff like over here where it's Pitax, which is this shithole. That's Aravetti. Over here, of course, above him is Glendabon. We'll get that one first and work our way towards Pitax. And then the Thousand Voices, and I don't think you actually get to claim the Thousand Voices as your own. I could be wrong on that. But basically, this is the last place you're going to be-ish for the end of the game. Rushlight. That's the Rushlight tournament. That's going to be amazing. That's the place I told you about, that where you're going to be spending like 1,000,000 gold at least and dropping it. It's like chapter 5. So you'll be stockpiling some cash. So first, let's go to our advisors. We need to put people in places. Notice this is our list of people we can pick from. Notice we have 2 different mercenaries on our list. So both the mercenaries will be showing up in various places. So you see that, and I'm guessing it's based on the type of job that they have. Since she's an inquisitor, she's with the high priest list. Notice how her wisdom is pretty high. As a matter of fact, it's as high as Harem's, if not higher. So the fact that she's at a +2 versus his +4, something weird going on, right? Well, that's because she's a mercenary. Mercenaries have an inherent penalty to them. So literally, if I put her in there, she's at a +2. See the -4 penalty? She should be at a +6. So it's kind of straight up suck. So I could put Harem in there. I could put in Jihad. The downside of putting in Jihad, even though I'm going to, is I can't give him gear to increase his charisma. But there is ways to increase his stat, so know that. So I like him for the High Priest. Treasurer, again, it's my mercenaries. Proto-Lich against an intelligence-based stat. So again, you can totally do this one. But I'm not going to, because again, a +1 straight up sucks. We want to find someone for that job, is what we want to do. For here, we've got 2 people that are on the team. Amiri, Brigangar, both strong. As you can see, he's clearly better, but only by +1. But sometimes that helps. And then again, they have different styles and approaches. They even tell you a little bit about their approaches. Now notice we have a vassal here, so we can put Castle here. Not saying we should, but we can think about it. And hell, we have other people that we can put in here too, it looks like. Let's do Counselor. This one I'll do Christian. Actually, kind of curious about something here, Christian. If I don't have Jihad here, can I put him there? Nope, that's what it has to be, Christian. Okay, just checking. Alright, we want the Regent. Regent ensures subjects' complaints and concerns are heard by their ruler, serves as a link between the Baron and the people. Now, again, for the 2 people that we really want in it, Valerie or Octavia, charisma. She actually has charisma, which is weird because it's not a stat that she cares about. Same with Valerie. She has 15 for charisma. That's why it's at +2. That's the one I'm going to pick for her, this one. But that's kind of a reason people want to build her towards being a charismatic character. And it sounds weird for a fighter to be charismatic. It's more Paladin's job, right? She's not a Paladin. She can't be because she's lawful neutral. She needs to be lawful good. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. So you could spec her out with like certain mods that'll do that. But the reason you want her to be charismatic, I'll show you when we actually employ her on the team. She has a few skills that charisma plays a big part. So does persuasion, which of course is part of charisma. For general, I don't know who I want. I think I want Reg, because I know I can level him up. He's strength based, so the +4 is because of his high strength. Remember, if you take him Dragon Disciple, he can get an extra 4 to his strength, which is a +2 to his stats. So what is that, +4 now? He could be at a +6 when you get him the Dragon Disciple level 4. Just saying. And that didn't require me getting a magic belt or anything like that to increase his strength. So there's plenty of good there. Now I could put someone here, like I said, but again, it would have to be my Mercs. And while she is at a +1, I still feel like it's cheating to put a Merc in for an advisor position. Now here is your chance to claim the outskirts. Now notice this, or first I should go over the list of stuff. So we have events, we have projects, and we have region stuff. Okay, advisors is stuff. Map is looking at the big overland map. Stuff like this. Now, if we want to talk about important, it's events first. Events are always the first thing you want to look at. If there's a red number over here, or a bunch of cards over here, then that's what you want to work on first. And in the events, there's 2 choices, I think. At least 2. There's problems and opportunities. Problems must be solved first, otherwise your kingdom will straight up suck. This is why I say you will not complete everything. You will get all the problems, hopefully, with some scum saving, done. You may not get every opportunity. Do not feel bad about that shit. If you can, do so. But if you can't, don't trip. It's fine. Projects after that are all this shit, which is ranking up your advisors, which we have none right now as far as rank ups. Economy, which is stuff that literally is going to increase or decrease our BP. I'll show you that here in a moment. Training, which is literally like it sounds. So like we have teammates that are subpar. Lindsay and all these others are less than level 5 or 6 like I am. So if I want to fake level them up, I can literally do training. It takes time and BP to do it, but I can literally, with Jod's help, increase Jathel's level. In 7 days, when the week goes by, it'll be done. You can go back and level her up, which is awesome. So obviously only do this to people that you're not taking with you, is my point. Let them sit back in the castle. It's not that it matters, but let them sit back in the castle. Why waste the XP on them and let them get the cheap XP out in the real world with us when you can just give them fake XP this way? So this is another workaround, which I do love that they have this ability. So we have, notice, I should point out that the X lets you know that you do not have an advisor for this position. So no one can train Reg right now. We'll get one before too long. Matter of fact, if I put someone in here, that'll probably go away. Okay. So let's look at that again. Training. Yeah, now she can train Reg. And again, there's no, what do you call it? DC check. If there's no DC check, it doesn't matter if she's at a +3 or a -5 million. She's going to pass it. Basically, you spend the money, wait this time, it'll work. There's no failure, as far as I know. So that's a thing. But again, like I said, I'm not gonna do that. So we'll just leave that until we can find an actual treasurer. It's weird that the treasurer needs to train him. Octavia can be trained by Tristan. Lindsay can be trained by Valerie, apparently. So we have a variety of things we can do with those. Curses. This is something that you're going to want to complete all the curses. There's a special ending to the end of the game, I believe, if you research every curse. Now, having said that, you're probably not going to research all of them right off the bat. Like this one right here, I would love to research it, but that ties up this character then for 45 freaking days, and it takes 50 of my BP. See that? Costs money. I'll do it. I won't do it yet. And notice the time frame. Here's the day of the month, the name of the month, which means nothing to me. And which I think is what this is, the 5th. No, actually, that's the day of the week. Sorry. This is the actual month, Roman numeral 5. So obviously January, February, March, May. So this is May 24th. And this is our year. Okay. 45 days. The calendar is reasonably like ours. It's not quite the same. It's in increments of 30 and 31 days. And you have to write down or find online which one's 30, which one's 31. Because it really does matter. Remember, at the end of the month, you want to be back. And if you're like, it's the 30th and I'm not going to make it. But if it's the 31st on that month and you can still make it, you should go back home. So keep an eye out for that shit. Notice that the 45 days, what would that put us at? Basically, he'd be useless for this month. So if something shows up that only this guy can do, then I can't I can reject the project, but then I lose some of this BP and we waste all kinds of time. That's my point. So this would be a bad idea because he'd be wasted for this month completely, and all of next month, and part of the month after that. You see the problem? So when would I give this to him? When I know that he's going to be screwed for the out of work for the least amount of time. Next month, probably like on the 1st or the 2nd of the month, I'll give him this job if there's nothing else for him to do. He'll be completely useless for the 6th month of the year, and then halfway through the 7th month of the year, he'll be useless. Then the curse will be done. And I'm not even convinced that I need to do this one right now. Just saying, that's how I would plan. From there, we talked about other, we don't have any curses, we've done that, training, we've done that. Now let's talk about economy. We'll have various things. You'll notice again, we don't have an advisor, so we can't do this one. Notice this one. Look how much it costs. We ain't got remotely what this needs. And you can purchase BP. 80 bucks, 80 gold pieces will get you 1 BP point. So you'll be selling treasure like crazy, stuff that you don't need. You equip everybody with enough to get them through, because everyone needs to come out and do some shit. But by and large, if it's not needed, or if it's just frivolous extra crap, chuck that shit to the curb and go from there. Okay, notice for our BP on the list on the left here, build points per week. Notice we're getting 32. We have a base income of 0 right now. That's because we don't have an economy advisor. We get the economy advisor, and again, I can make one, but I'm not going to. Once we make one, we can start making BP a week because of that. So we have income stat ranks, so +5 from the stats that we got here going. So 1 from divine, economy, military, loyalty, community. And then we have income from regions, nothing. And this is part of something that would do that. And then brevoy subsidy. The Sword Lords, remember, they're our sponsor. This is them kicking money to us, build points to us to keep our kingdom going. And then they tax us. Okay, that's fine. That's part of what it is. Eventually we'll get to the point where we kind of break ties from those guys. So we won't get the subsidy anymore. But then we're not taxed either, because why would we pay taxes if we're our own kingdom? That's much later. So I know this is a lot, guys, and very boring, but this is where you're going to be a lot in this game. There's plenty of stuff to do in the open world, and for this chapter, we got plenty of fighting to do, so this is going to be something that comes back later. But notice our value ranks, and this was given to us at the very beginning. This is how we got established. So we have some community, loyalty. Loyalty is almost up to rank 2. Remember, 20 points to get to the next rank. So 10 to 20, we'll get another 25 here, get it to 20, and we should be able to take this guy and rank him up. That's under rank up. We don't have any yet. You want to do those ASAP too. Obviously problems first, but then rank ups are highly important. Why? Because it gives them a bonus to their DC checks when they try to pass this stuff. So if there's a, let's see if there's like a DC roll. I don't think there's any in here. No, just various offers. Training, no. Curses, maybe. Nope. Nothing yet. So, last thing to mention is notice how my picture's here. Anytime you see your picture along with another advisor, again, you get to choose. Doesn't matter which one, as far as it'll all guarantee to pass. You just have to wait 14 days. And by waiting 14 days, I mean you really will burn up 14 days. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You're going to have to do that many times. But remember what 14 days will turn you into. 24 plus 14 will be 38. So guaranteed will be in the next month. Why is that important, Brother Mutant? Well, remember what they said. The beginning of the month is when people like to show up and then announce themselves to the king and queen and the baron, and in our case, us. So, if I'm burning all the way to the 8th day of the next month, let's say, did I miss them? Yes, I was here, but I wasn't here to receive them because the clock will just like, you'll see this spinning 14 days of boom, boom, boom 14 times because you're burning up 14 days. It's like a fast forward button. So you can't do anything during those 14 days as far as go out and explore, sell gear, or any of that cool shit. So you're chewing up 14 days is what you're telling the game you want to do when you do this. So be real careful with that one. Obviously, when you do stuff like this, a fine example is, because we're going to do it, is we'll scum save it, or I'll even be smart enough to literally hardcore save it. So I have the date down, so I know what day I started this mess. Usually I only do that, though, after I put people in their various positions. So let's sounded dirty. Let's actually put some people in some shit. Let's do the economy stuff. Do we have rebuild the Temple of the Elk? Will cost us money. Restore the Temple of the Elk. It will take 60 days. That would take up 2 months of Jod's time. So all this month, all of next month, and part of the month after. Is that worth it to you? Pass. Pillage the Temple of the Elk. Literally get yourself and rob the place. And it will be demolished, I think. And as such, you'll get 150 BP. It's a big kick in the butt for BP. It takes 14 days to do it. Obviously, again, another one of those things where you have to decide. Notice how it takes 10 BP to do this, though. I guess to equip the people. And we have Zvanki's offer. High Priest of Aerosol from Restov has a strong interest in spreading the Stag Lords, blah, blah, blah. Accept his offer if you wish to gain a useful ally and a place to worship for Aerosol. Remember, free temple. He said he gives us a free shrine or temple, whatever the hell it is. This is what he means. But to do this, we have to equip it. And in 7 days. Now again, for this month, I don't remember if this 5th month of the year is a 31-dayer or is it a 30-day month. Now, having said that, if it's 30 days, 7 and 24 makes it 31. He'll finish this at the 1st of the month. Again, why is that important? Because if something happens between the 24th and the 30th that only Jod can handle, like a problem, right? We just missed out on that problem. Or we have to cancel this quest, wasting his time, maybe wasting BP. That's a big no-no. Again, problems. So what you usually do, until you say start project, he's just sitting there. But you'll see his picture. See that? So what I usually do is I'll go through and I'll just do like this and see, oh, I could put him here, but he's taken in somewhere else. Well, now I really want him here. So now his picture's in this spot. Now, obviously, I can't do both. This one takes longer. I'm assuming that if I tried to do both, that this one would succeed, and then his quest would straight up just fail, wasting 100 BP. So obviously, we're not doing that. I'm not even doing this one, because I'm not going to pillage it. I will rebuild it, and there's a reason to want to rebuild it too, by the way. Zvanki's offer, I'd love to do that one, so we'll leave him there for the time being. Training. Remember, we have 4 advisors at least that we can put into places. Could be Valerie here. Could be Tristan there. No one for that guy. Tristan could also do Valerie's training. Jod could do Jathel's training. So again, on you. Who do you want to level up? So we have options. Then, so that's 2 people. If you look at the projects, you can see we've used 3 here, nothing on events. So 3 here, we have 1 more person. Now, can we use that person to claim this region? No. If we claim the outskirts, which is something we probably want to do sooner than later, then we probably want to put one of these guys in. Again, doesn't matter who, per se. But again, remember, 14 days. Who can we probably deal without solving crises immediately? Probably Valerie's my guess. She's not very good at solving problems right now with a +4 anyway. So she'd probably be my go-to person there. Now again, I get everyone where I want them to be. Remember, they're not doing anything yet until you literally say start project. Okay? Now, again, I don't know that I want to do this, but let's pretend like we do. So I'm going to do a quick save. Start his project.
Adventures can wait.
And where's the other guys? Zvanki's offer, 7 days. Start that project. Okay? Now, before we go and claim this and start burning up 14 days, here's the thing. We also have town building. We can rename it. So here's Tuskdale. So this is not Dorraj. I don't like double alliteration. I always hated that in comics. Doraville. Welcome to Doraville. So here's Doraville. Notice it has no stats and no buildings built. Enter it. And now we have all this stuff. And I'm not going to read all this. I'll pause long enough for you to be able to pause the screen and read it yourself. Next one. Next one. This one's important. Pay attention to this. Basically, if you want to move stuff after the fact. Notice that his is our kingdom stats here. Okay. We have built nothing. The view, which is boring. I don't even know why the view matters, but I guess because people don't like seeing the grid. Now here's what you can build here. Notice you can always build city walls of some kind. Sometimes you can build 2, I think, depending on the city format. But definitely you can build city walls. Okay. What does that give you? The wooden wall gives you, at the cost of 30 BP, we only have 425. At the cost of 30 BP, we can actually get a +1 to military. See that? Military, that's that little swords crossed, +1. And again, that goes towards the stats. So here's military. It's at 6 right now. 4 more would put it at 10. But remember, we wanted stuff to get to 20. 20 is the important number. So the ones that are at 0, like espionage, culture, relations, we really want to get those ones up. Arcane already has some, but again, we want to get arcane stability up as well. But we have no advisors for those because they're not even ranked yet. So that's why we only have 5, because we have 5 advisor positions available and only 4 advisors placed. So we want to get these up, and notice that many of these are tied to the other guy. So here's community. Community statistics represents the barony's population. This statistic is governed by the region, which is Valerie. Notice, if you look at some of these other ones, like relations, relations statistic indicates the external and, to a point, internal diplomatic ties of the barony. Basically, is everybody happy? In small baronies, the regent, that's Valerie, covers matters of the relations and will ask to assign a grand diplomat when the community reaches rank 4. So when we want to unlock this, you need to get this one to 4 first. Actually, I think they changed that. I think that's a typo. I think it's actually 3 now. Point is, though, you want to rank this up. And when they get to that point, you'll know it because they will literally tell you, hey, it's starting to get to be a problem. Our kingdom's getting pretty darn big, and oh, golly gee whiz, I can't do it all, boss. Why don't you hire a relations person? And that's your cue, that you have unlocked another advisor. And there's one for an arcane, and again, it's tied to the high priest. So again, high priest is divine. So if you want to get the arcane up sooner than later, because it's important, then you want to get divine ranked up ASAP. So how do you do that? Again, to get from rank 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, on up it goes, we need to have this go from 5 to 20 to 40 to 60. You get the idea. And rank up the advisor. So if you want to focus arcane, look for stuff first that does divine. That's what this is all about. Okay, now this isn't the only way to get this stuff. We'll do quests and things will just happen. Problems will be solved and opportunities will come across. By completing them successfully, you will be awarded stats. Okay, so all this shit here doesn't just come from your buildings. Most of it, quite frankly, is going to come from all the shit that we complete. But, like you see here for loyalty, it's real close to being over. So why not look for some stuff that gives you 5 loyalty points total, build it, and then you'll know you'll be at plus 20, right? And therefore you can rank up that advisor to a 2, moving in the right direction. The important one for me, though, is always getting economy up first-ish, or at least on par with everybody else. Why? You'll notice when you look at the BP per week, you see how it says income from stat ranks? It's because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stat ranks. Notice kingdom stat rank 1, kingdom stat value 5 provides 1 BP per week. Now, if this was stat 2, it would provide 2 BP a week, I believe. However, it will not. I know I just countered myself. Why? Because economy is only a 1. So if economy is a 1 and everything else is a 2 or greater, you're still only getting 1 BP per week for each of those ranks. So economy is highly important that you bring economy at least up on par with everybody else. So economy should be the highest number or even to the highest number across the board, in my opinion. That's how you make sure your BP always keeps flowing. And the reason that that's important is because you use BP to buy all this stuff and you never want to go negative. Notice another addition they've done to the game is you can purchase BP from this screen. It used to be you have to go outside to your capital, talk to a vendor, buy it from them, come back inside, do all this crap again. They just added a window to it. So thank you, devs, for that. But it's 80 gold piece, just like it is for the vendor, and he still sells it, so it's still out there. But if you just go and type in some god-awful number, it tells you how much you can max out on. See, 220 is what I can add to my pool. And that ain't much, kids. And that means I don't have any money for supplies, for traveling, for any upgraded gear, and that's a big no-no. So if I want that to go away and just get something realistic, like, why don't you make me 10? That's $800. And you'll see it now here. It's not represented there right away. You have to go away and come back. But it repopulates over here like it should, so you do know you have purchased it. And there's no refunds, so make sure you get what you want. Notice we have single stuff. We have the green walls. The only thing you can build there is walls. The single placement tower or spot, which is a good place for towers, like the watchtower. can only be built in a separate slot. That's what they mean by a separate slot. Because if you click Watchtower, you see how everything goes away. The only place you can place it. I'm not placing it there. There's another thing you can place there instead of a watchtower. A windmill also can be built only in a separate slot. So if you really want that windmill, which is community, then you need to put it here in this town. You can make them in other towns too. We're going to get more territories. But my point is, for this town, if I really want that windmill, currently this is my only option. That means I don't get a watchtower then. So am I losing out on espionage? Yes. But am I gaining something else? Yes. So again, kind of on you what you think is important. Notice the blue one. Well, first notice the green one, wooden wall, for the green one here. So clearly we can make military here if I so choose. I'm not going to right now. Piers, on the other hand, in the blue one, piers I think is one of the only things you can make in the blue territories. Maybe one other thing, and I think that's only after you become a town, a slightly bigger town. Right now we're like a village. Then we go from village to town, then we go from town to a city. City's the highest. And every time you go up, you get more slots. So right now we're limited to 10. 9 and 1 is 10. The walls don't count as a slot, neither does the pier. Okay? But I like putting in the piers because it's economy. And I almost like to put all my towns on a river, if at all possible, because it'll give me free piers. That's free economy. It costs money to make it, obviously. But the point is that's steady increase to my economy stat here. When I finally get that to 20, I'll increase that rank. Now that's another BP a week. See what I'm saying? So it's making me money eventually. That's the goal. From there, like I said, for the windmill and watchtower, as far as I know, that's the only two on this list that are special for that individual spot right now, anyway. So if you want one there, you might want to just build it now and get it done and over with. What do you want? Do you need espionage? Notice it has other links. It's espionage +1 just for building it. And again, it's not built yet. That's what this little icon is. It's building currently. And if you highlight over, it tells you how many days until it's built. So in 7 days, poof, it'll be done. Then it'll start working, I believe, on this one. They don't work concurrently. It's one, then the other, then the other. So if you want something more than something else, build it in the right order. Here is a good spot, though, for a watchtower. It could be not only espionage, but if we have a barracks in our base anywhere in this area, it gives us a +1 to military. We get a +1 to stability if we have walls, which we're going to build eventually anyway. So what did we want to build towards? Loyalty. So none of those things. So we really need the loyalty, which looks like the heart. Okay, so look for the heart icon if you want to have something that will upgrade that. Here's an orphanage. Gives you community and loyalty. Only good aligned baronies can make it. We're lawful good. Remember, it goes off your alignment. Monument. We can make that. That's community and loyalty. Awesome. We can make a herbalist house. Notice this one. +1 to loyalty and +1 to arcane, when adjacent to a shrine. Remember, that's that one quest we were going to have him complete. We get a free shrine. So this is something you might want to build. So go look at shrine. Yes, we could buy it right now, but why? When we get one for free here before too long. Notice what it benefits from, though. It gives divine, +1 more divine when next to a monument, +1 to loyalty when adjacent to a longhouse. Okay, so now you'd want to have a longhouse, a monument, and the herbalist house near it. So you need to have at least 3 squares available touching it. So it has to be directly touching it, not in an angle. It used to be that it would work that way, but now it has to be a flat surface touching a flat surface. So remember, one of the things a shrine could touch was a longhouse and benefit from it. Here's the longhouse. Look how many different things it affects. Not only does it give us community, divine, and culture, it also gives us interactions with artisan shops, artisan studios, artisan workshops, barracks, citadels, and on, taverns, and temples, and etc. and so forth. So a whole shit ton of stuff the longhouse impacts. It gives a bonus to those buildings. So that's why I'm putting it in the center. Okay. We will make a shrine eventually and put it like here. But again, only when it's free. Then we will have the herbalist house next to it here, because it interacts with it. Then on this side, I'll make that monument here. So again, I can make the monument now. It's giving me the community and loyalty that I want. This longhouse didn't give me anything I cared about. I mean, I care, but it's not the heart. It's not the one that I wanted. I just know that it's key and important. But I do want that herbalist house, and it's cheap. So again, monuments more than twice as much to get the +1 and the +1. All I care about is the heart. Here's an herbalist house. I can make it here knowing that that's where it's going to go. Another great thing to make, though, first look at your herbalist house next to a shrine. So the shrine will go here or here. Obviously, here's where I'm going to put it. So this is a dead space. It doesn't matter what goes there, per se. It does matter in that there's a longhouse touching it, so if it can be affected by the longhouse, that's a good idea. So I might leave that spot vacant for something else. But here's something very good. Military. Notice this. Not only is it a +1 to military, a board where orders, edicts, petitions, announcements, and sarcastic pamphlets are posted. +2 bonus to resolving problems in this region, the Shrike Hills where we're at. Restricted to baronies with a lawful alignment. This is a really nice boon for you. They don't stack. You can't make multiple. Well, I think you can make multiple, but it doesn't do you any good. So just make one. And I'm putting it in the corner because it's not impacting anything right now. But that's a nice solid one to have. Built in 5 days. Definitely worth having. From there, we're burning up BP like it's going out of style. And there's nothing wrong with that, but try to keep at least 100 to 200 always in your kitty, in my opinion. From here, let's see, is there anything else with hearts? Orphanage. Expensive, but cheaper than the monument. And its community and loyalty doesn't seem to be impacted by anything. So again, I'd probably put it in a corner somewhere. Maybe he'll just put it right here just to straight up ignore it. Monument, we know that it's going to impact the shrine, so I can make the monument and put it right here. I'll probably do that. What else do we have? Nothing else that's directly a heart. Now there may be stuff that interacts with the longhouse that gives us loyalty. Like, let's see, brewery? Loyalty, right there. Building a brewery gives us +1 to relations. +1 to loyalty in a settlement with a windmill. That's the thing that would go up here, right? Watchtower, windmill. So if you want that extra heart, this is a good way to get it. So make a brewery somewhere here and then make that windmill there. +1 stability in a town with a tavern. Ooh, let's look at the tavern. That makes it economy. We like that. +1 relations when adjacent to a longhouse. So okay, tavern wants to go here or here or here. What did that brewery did it have to be touching? When located in a settlement with a tavern, which means anywhere in the building, it doesn't have to be touching it, is my point. So the brewery can be put in a corner again, like I was thinking. But that tavern has to be touching the longhouse to get a bonus. When adjacent to a barracks, it gets another bonus. Okay, so we don't want to put the tavern here. Why? Because there's nowhere to put the barracks where the barracks is touching it. You see that? I could put it here, and then put the barracks there, let's say. Eventually, I don't have to do it today. I could put it here. This was where the shrine was going to go, and this is where the monument's going to go. So I don't want to put it here. I don't know if I want to even put it there, because then this one's definitely going to be the monument. I don't think the monument benefits the tavern. Nope. Tavern is only benefited by the longhouse and the barracks. So only 2. So yeah, I guess I can do the tavern here. And the barracks next to it. Like that, right? So tavern. Adjacent to the longhouse. Tavern. Adjacent to the barracks. And the barracks, notice the barracks. It gets a bonus when adjacent to the longhouse. Now obviously I can't have it adjacent to the longhouse and the tavern. I'd have to flip these two. But again, which would you rather have? If I have it adjacent to the longhouse, I get +1 to stability. That'd be nice. But the tavern, being adjacent to the longhouse, gives me relations. So it's kind of which do you want? Again, I do want the brewery. And it gives me bonus to loyalty when I have the windmill. Can I afford the windmill? And then the brewery. Just slap that right there. Yeah, see that? And that's more than enough. That's plenty to build, keep us busy, and if you add up all these points, you'll see how many we've added to our stats. It doesn't show up until, and this is where you'll see the +0s turn into numbers for all the stuff when they finally are officially built. If I was going to build one more thing, it'd probably be a wooden wall. Matter of fact, I think I would. I know that's wasteful, but The barracks, I think, gets a bonus from it. Oh, so you got militia, or no, the wall. Yeah, affects the wall. The wall gets a benefit from it. No, it doesn't. What the hell? Affects jail reinforced wall. Oh, excuse me. So when the wall gets upgraded, it'll get a benefit. But that's still okay. I still want that wall. So that's not bad. So we get out of there. I know this video is very boring, guys, but you're going to many times where we do this stuff. Now, we have everything we want it to be. We got people on projects. If they're in the middle, then they're working on it currently. If they're still over here, then they're not doing jack and shit. So no events. Projects are being worked on. I don't have to go through them individually because, again, I can just click on projects overall and see all my cards and the 2 that are being worked on right now and one that we have yet to say yes. Now, when I click this thing, it's going to, like I said, fast forward 14 days. Okay? So this is usually where people scum save. Do a quick save. Make sure you have enough BP so you never go negative. This is very lucky of me that I still had enough on paying attention. We're going to be positive 15. That's not a lot. But each week that burns up, and she's going to burn up 2 weeks doing this, we'll get 32 BP back. So it is worth doing. Notice all the events and projects that are showing up in red on the right now. That's because time is burning up. All that shit showed up at either the end of the month or the beginning of the month. She passed. We have the outskirts now as our territory. Spread is covering the outskirts. That's Oleg's territory now. And we can make another city, or excuse me, a village there. Okay. Again, advisors. Notice we have another training. Success. Success for Tristans. Companion got leveled up, Octavia. And you see we have no failures yet. Nothing on the cards over here for failures that were bad. A couple things that were good. The green swatch lets you know it was good. You were trying to avoid the red swatches. Now look at all the shit that showed up in the next month. We have troubled lands and opportunity that can be done by 2 different guys. We have a problem. Notice the date. Must be attended before this. So the 6th month right now, 7th month, beginning of the 7th month. So basically by the 30th or the 31st or however many days you have in this month, you have to have someone in here. There's only one person that can do it, so you might as well do it. Now, this is a problem. He's hot-headed and direct, but it's bandit outrage. It's a perfect person, in my opinion, to send towards the bandits, and since we don't have a choice, that works good. Notice, because of his +6, he has a DC of 14 with a 6 added to his die roll of 20. He needs a 14 or greater to pass this check in, how many days does it take? 7 days. So in a week, he will do the check officially. Okay? He has a 65% chance, the game just tells you, he has a 65% chance of passing it right now. If I burn crisis points, 1, 2, or more, it increases his chance of passing it. Now don't get crazy here, 100% is still 100%. But 90% is good. If you really need to make that check, they gave you the ability to do this. And you'll get more crisis points as you do kingdom stuff. I don't really even know how that works officially. But I know that they show up. So burning up these 5, they will come back. And you can have, I believe, more than 5. So don't feel like you have to use them or lose them kind of thing. He'll probably pass these checks because we're going to scum save it anyway. So I'm cool with that. So let's start the event. What else we got? Harem wants to talk to us in the throne room. And a counselor awaits in the throne room. An advisor wants to discuss an urgent matter of concern for your barony in the throne room. So again, before we do anything like that, normally I would save. I would also probably put someone here on the opportunity. We have time to do this one though. See that? It's 17 days, 17 and 7, that's 24. So before this month is over, he'll be done. So even if another problem shows up that only Tristan can solve, kind of like what Reg is doing right here. If it's something that only Tristan can solve, we'll still have an opportunity to put him on it. So this is okay, and he's got a good solid chance at passing it, so I'm not going to burn a crisis point. We start the event. And then if you close, you can always skip a day, by the way. That just burns the clock, much like you just saw with our advisors taking over that region. It'll burn a day. However, when you skip a day, know that you are not resting when you do that. So if you came to your town, you're completely exhausted, no spells, all that shit, skipping a day doesn't seem to do shit for you. You really need to press the R button and rest. Anyway, we've done that. If you're done here, close out. You'll go to your table, your throne. People will come and talk to you. Tristan lowers his head. Greens Baron, I am sorry to take you away from your other affairs, but your people need you. When the Stolen Lands were free from the Stadlord, the people sighed in relief, but many are still confused by their swift change of fortune. Truth be told, they simply don't know what to think of their new Baron, nor what to expect of you. Will you be a fair ruler for all, or only for those of wealth and status? Let us reassure your people. Show them where your favor truly rests. Perhaps a small celebration would help to win them over. Of course, you could spend the same amount on a luxurious dinner for the wealthiest in your barony, but I recommend organizing a fair for the common people, the ones upon whose shoulders your power truly resides. So we can literally suck up to the royal families, or we can, give a big ass party to the masses, like a state fair. And again, we can do any of these things and just literally say, screw that. No one deserves it. Get back to work and just get free BP this way. Obviously, that's the evil playthrough. But the things that they've added to the game didn't used to be there is this choice effect. If you hover over it, it tells you if you succeed, this is what you'll get. Okay? So if we hold a fair for the common people, we'll go up 2 in community and culture. Yay us. If we kiss ass to the wealthy people, 2 to the economy, 2 to relations. Again, it kind of makes sense, right? But it's nice that they added this. The devs didn't used to have that in there. And of course, the gain 20 BP one, which is screw festivities, money, 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 money. I'm Scrooge McDuck. Give me your cash. So again, or you can tell him to make up his own mind. He's already told you what he thinks. So he really wants to do the fair for the common people. So I can either be generic and just say, I trust your opinion on the matters, Tristan. Just do what you think is right. I'd rather encourage him by saying, yeah, I think you've made the right choice. This is what I'm going to do. Okay, so choice effect, we shall hold a fair for the common people. I want them to know that I hold them closest to my heart, especially their hot daughters. Tristan smiles warmly. We will hold a common celebration where everyone will be welcome, including the poor and downtrodden. This is the greatest gift a ruler can give to his people. And again, barony effect, the stuff that they told us we were going to get. Usually, like I said, this was usually hidden behind a wall of, I don't know what's going to happen. So people would scum save these things. So, new event, support the counselor's endeavors. Now that's something that's, again, if we go back into our little world map here, you'll see support the counselor's endeavors is something that we have to do. It's like, not an opportunity, but it's a job. Harem wants to talk to us. Harem looks embarrassed. He runs his fingers through his beard and clears his throat a few times and speaks at last. I heard, not that it's important, but, well, he clears his throat again. I heard that an ancient trade road built by the Dorraj of the 5 King Mountains runs through these lands. I don't know what happened to them or where they went. Unforgiving time spares no one, but the road itself is still there, and possibly not only the road. Sounds like treasure to me. That's a little pop-up menu for what the 5 Kings Mountains really are. Oh, Harem holds his beard in his fist. Well, Dora, I have a request. If you find any dwarven ruins in the area, I'd like to see them with my own eyes. Of course, Harem. If I find any dwarven ruins, I'll take you to them. Thank you, Dora. Thank you. Remember, he hates being a dwarf. He hates being alive. He hates everything. If you talk to him, you find out very quickly he pretty much is pissed. John wants to talk to us now. Your Grace, I was at Oleg's trading post recently, and I noticed old Bakken just standing there, bored to death with nothing to do. This is most unfortunate. After all, the old grumbler is a very knowledgeable alchemist. However, he has no use for his skills, since the locals need nothing more than the simplest of healing potions. And then it struck me, why don't you hire him as your court alchemist? His decoctions and tinctures would certainly prove most useful to you. Also, it might be cheaper than simply buying from him or some other merchant. This is our first, what do they call these guys? I was going to say vendor, it's not a vendor. Artisan, there it is. This is our first artisan. We basically need to go to Oleg's and convince him to join us. Easy enough to do. And then he'll say, well, if you make me a shop, a proper place to work, which means go back to your base here, go into the map, and click on his new city, the new town, or whatever village that we're going to make near Oleg's. It doesn't have to be on Oleg's area, just near the area. And we will have a building option of building Bakken's workshop. Make that. Anytime you have an artisan, anytime you claim a new region, you should go to that region's town, look for people like Bakken that want to be an artisan for you. More times than often, you have to go find them. They're in the area, you'll chat them up and say, hey, I'm really good at this. I'm a really good weaponsmith. I'd like to make you weapons, but I don't have blah, blah, blah. You want to do a quest for me? Make me a little shop, and I'll happily make you kick-ass weapons and armor and whatever else. This is what artisans are for. Those guys are key and important, and the sooner you get on these guys' quests, the better off you're going to be. Free shit, like every month or every other month they'll drop off something. Even if you don't tell them what to drop off, they'll just randomly leave shit, and you have a little kitty over here, chest, that holds your belongings. So if you're not here at the beginning of the month when they show up to drop off the whatever, they'll just leave it in the kitty. So you'll come back to your kitty and be like, where did this potion come from? I don't remember that sword. What the hell? Am I getting senile? No, you're not. Well, maybe you are, but this is not the reason why. And you will actually be getting stuff from your artisans. They'll just be dropping it off. Now, obviously, it's cooler if you're there when they show up because they, do a little ceremony. They come in, bow, say something nice to you, kiss your butt, basically. I worked real hard to make you this sword, sir. Here you go. I'm off to work I go again. Ha ha ha. It is really funny. So you'll actually enjoy that part. Artisans are the bomb. And if you do all their quests, every artisan has a side quest, several. You do all of them and kiss their butt, and they will not only love you, they will also make you epic loot and gear. And they have a master quest item. Every last one of them has one thing that they'll make that's their ultimate whatever. Bakken's, for instance, the one that we're going to get as our first artisan, Bakken's, you do all his quests, which will take several chapters. He will make you a potion, the elixir of transmutable blah 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 such and such and awesomeness. And I forget what it's called, but it's the elixir of something. You'll know it. Whomever drinks that potion, it could be you, could you pass it off to one of your friends, but why would you? But if you give it to somebody and they drink it, it's a one and done potion. It is permanent +2 to all stats. That's strength, dex, con, and intelligence, wisdom, charisma. +2 across the board. Stacks with magical gear that you have. Just saying. You want it. You really, really, really want that thing. So, just saying. Takes a while to get there, but it's worth having. Anyway, that's just a little pop-up. And the reason that he showed up to give you that little quest is because we took over Oleg's area. Remember? Let's actually...
In due time.
Over here. Here's our kitty. Now remember, we have crap here, right? So let's collect all. And the reason we're collecting all is this guy here, the storyteller. Now this is the last part of today's video. Well, we'll go back into the kingdom one more time. But storyteller. This is the old elf they were talking about. There's some crazy old blind elf. I don't know how the hell he got here. This is who they're talking about. He's the storyteller. So click him. The man standing before you resembles an elf, but a very old one. His face is wrinkled and his beard is as white as mountain snow. The man seems to be completely blind. The old man stares past you with unseeing eyes. He seems to be consumed in his thoughts. He mutters a soft melody, swaying back and forth, slightly to its rhythm, which is kind of sad. The man shudders briefly and stops singing. His mouth opens and closes a few times, bringing to mind a fish brought ashore. Ah, who is there? Is that you, your grace? Who are you? I am an elf from Keonan. My name is not important. I am the storyteller, collector of stories. I collect unknown legends of ancient times. The man smiles, but it doesn't seem to be directed toward you. Long ago, I was a smith in Keonan. The fire of the fort has burned out my eyes, but I am grateful for it. If I could see, I would yet forge suits of armor for Ayadara's guards. Instead, I have stepped on the path of an adventurer and gatherer of ancient legends. Awesome. By the way, for those that are wondering how the hell a forge can make you blind, I don't know that this is exactly the way, but it makes sense to me. When they're hammering, bits of metal fly out, right? They're crafting armor, shields, swords, whatever. They're smashing with a hammer, bits of metal fly out. The reason I know this is it's very similar to welding, and I have a friend that I used to play City of Heroes with all the time, and he actually has bad eyes, and he can't be in I want to say it's an MRI, the ones with the magnetic resonance, I think that's the MRI. He can't be in it because he has enough metal embedded into his face from welding over the years that if they put him in an MRI, it'll like cook his head or rip out all the metal or something bad. But basically his vision is going, and it's going because of all the metal bits that keep flying off from the arc welding or whatever the hell it was that he did. I assume it's the same thing that we're talking about here. No protective gear. It's a damn shame. The old man ponders silently for a moment. Many peoples are long dead. Their homes crumble to dust, and their bodies turn to ash. Only legends can still tell us of their triumphs and defeats, their joys and fears. I would be so interested to hear the stories told about us after our demise. I have always been drawn to the stolen lands, where countless expeditions, armies, and even kingdoms have met their untimely ends. When I learned of a new barony being founded in the heart of these lands, I knew I wanted to be part of its story, so I made the journey here. Are you really an elf? Do other elves age like you have? A common question. Despite my unusual looks, I am an elf, and an old one, yes, perhaps older than any other elf of Keonan. However, I doubt my age alone is responsible for my appearance. I keep the stories of many people and races, some forever gone from the face of Galarian, but they live on in my memory and my heart. When I accept a new story, I lock it within myself, bearing the weight of its words and the emotions they invoke. I sometimes think I probably should have died long ago, but some incomprehensible force is keeping me alive and granting me the ability to continue my quest to gather stories. Clearly magic. Be it divine power or a fell curse, I am grateful either way. How could you tell it was me? The old man smiles slightly. It is not hard to recognize a ruler by the way he walks. No one here steps as confidently as you, your grace. All right, would you care to trade stories with me? The man's voice rustles like autumn leaves. I am a collector, not a trader. If I share a story with you, you receive the power to pass it further, changing or embellishing it, whether it's willingly or not. Can I be certain you will keep my stories intact in their absolute purity? The storyteller ponders for several moments. No, I do not think so. At least, not yet. These legends are the most precious valuables of this world, the last remnants of ancient tribes. They are beacons illuminating the way to the past. Allow us to meet generations long gone. I cannot let their light fade. The path to the past must not be lost. The old man thinks for a moment, then continues, but I can offer you a deal, your grace. If on your journeys you discover items that come from eras past, bring them to me. And if my eyes can see the stories that these relics hold, I will gladly share them with you. And if you find all the pieces of ancient artifacts, I can even recall my smithing skills to unite them and restore their power. So he has multiple roles here. First, eventually we'll kiss his ass enough that he will become an advisor. After we unlock the post officially, he will join us for being an advisor, for a curator, I think is what they call it. The other is we can turn in 3 different things to him. We can give him fragments of stuff that he will forge into whatever it used to be, like a piece of a ring. You find all the pieces of the ring, and he will forge it back into the original ring. That's a magic item. So he basically gives us magic gear randomly, and it's really nice. The other is we can give him items that are part of a story. Find all the items, give them to him. He tells you the story. You get a lot of XP for that. I think even gold, which is awesome. And he tells you a kick-ass story. Third, there's random bibs and bobs that you've been seeing. I've been picking up, like the ancient Atlantic coins or whatever the hell they call these things. And it's like a gold coin, but it's a specific type. You can't sell them per se. And it's always, when you look at these things, it always says the same thing. Maybe some collector would be interested. He's the collector. And the reason that that's important is he takes them all off your hand, and for each one of these teeny tiny little coins or whatever we're talking about, he gives you like $100, $50, $200. Out of nowhere, you'll get like a influx of cash just by adventuring, finding these random little bips and bobs, and you take them back to him, and poof, you're loaded again. That's why he's awesome. So, let's say this one. I found the shards of an ancient artifact. Can you restore it for me at the anvil? Now watch this. May I? He looks through our pack. Without eyes, don't ask me how. And then he tells you about each artifact that you have a piece of. This scorched piece of metal is a part of a curious artifact known as the Necklace of Double Crosses. Inside it, I sense a story of many deeds, not heroic, but low and maleficent. If you find all 7 of its fragments, I will be able to restore the artifact and recount its inglorious story. Now, he doesn't tell you how many you have, but you look in your pack and you'll see that you have a fragment of blah-de-blah. Probably got like 2 or 3 of them. So obviously we need all 7. Then we can go here and say, I brought some relics. Are any worthy of a story? These are the ones that, again, he won't forge them into something, but they tell a story. Storyteller eyebrow raises. How interesting. May I, your grace? He gently touches items from your pack. A coin from a non-existent country. When Coral the Conqueror mastered Rossland, having claimed it for Brevoy, he prohibited the issuance and use of such coins. Both ordinary folk and Eldori swindlers were required to use new coins decorated with Coral's profile. But no one was quick to be rid of these prohibited coins. Oh no. In many houses they still store boxes and whole chests of such coins, waiting for the day when Rossland declares its independence. He takes every coin that we have. It said we lost one, but we actually lost several. And for all the ones that we had on us, he gave us a total of 3,600 bucks. Boom. Also, we have a shit ton of tokens of the Dryads. The storyteller's fingers caress the symbol shaped like a tree leaf. And what is this? I hear the voices of trees. Smell the scent of fresh leaves. A Dryad mark, is it not? I'd be happy to purchase it from you. 2,700 bucks. Thank you. Then further. Storyteller idly toys with the ancient plain-looking coin. What was the name of the Coloran ruler who issued this coin? Does anyone remember now? What did the Cyclopes use it to purchase? Food? Books? Weapons? Perhaps someone's life? Or their freedom? Who can say? Its history was erased by the Earthfall, but I will buy it from you for something more than it's worth in its own time. And that's the Earthfall, by the way, for those that are interested. The ancient Cyclops coins, however many we had, we got 400 bucks. Probably only had like one or two. But the point is, it's worth solid money every time you find these things. Then, Taldan Warrior Dog tags. We sold some of those and got 1,800 bucks. Storyteller weighs the soldier's tag in his palm. A soldier does not ask where the banners of war are headed. He or she goes to battle, dies, and leaves it to others to decide whether the cause was just. This tag belonged to one of the many warriors who helped establish the glory of the Taldan Empire. If you would permit me, I would gladly purchase it from you. Okay, I'll take your money. Now here's the fun part. The belongings of brave heroes who performed their feats here before you. I think you would be interested to hear their story, but there are too few of them here for me to recount it yet. Please find all 5 of them. I am sure you won't regret the time you spent in the search. So either I didn't find them because I didn't go to the area, or I missed a perception check, or a treasure chest I couldn't unlock. So again, it behooves you to look up online all 5 of them to find out where they are, and say, oh, I have these 4. What was the 5th one at? Oh, it's over here. Okay, I've never been there yet. That's your cue. Okay. Notice this part. I need a wise advisor at my court. Would you like to serve me in matters of state? He turns you down. Thank you for your words. I am unlikely to be able to interpret the intricacies of the political world or the affairs of the treasury, but my advice regarding the magic of the arts would be useful to any ruler. So again, once you unlock that job, that advisor post, you can probably come back, talk to him, and he'll join you. Alright, bro. Peace out. Now, I'm going to drop off my kitty. Look how much stuff we have. Here's my fragments of the necklace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He said 7. We're only 1 away from having the necklace of double crosses. Again, I either didn't go to that area or I missed a perception check or whatever. Maybe it's in that spot where we didn't finish the map. The were-rats, for instance, they could have the next piece for all I know. But that's awesome. Notice, before we put stuff away, we had people that leveled up, and I want to put out some gear, right? So she had the scythe +1. We wanted to give her a magic scythe. She's rocking chainmail, which is already +6, so it's no better than the hide armor she has. Her dex +2, she's getting the +2 dex max from chainmail, so she doesn't need to have the +4 max dex here. So I can sell this, is my point. I can give the woodland Aegis to like Lindsay. It is an upgrade. It's the same armor, but remember, it allows her to cast Barkskin. So if she's coming with us, for instance, I could equip her with this and help out. I could also, Jathel also had the ability to sword and board it, so to speak. We'll have her do a short spear +1 and give her a nice... Oh, did I sell them all? Oh, I thought I kept a shield. Boo. Well, we'll give her a shield later. Point is, I can give her a shield so she can get a little more armor. From here, what else do we have? A great sword. Mary's already got kitted out with stuff she wanted. She already got a great club +2. She's fine. I'm gonna do that. We'll probably take Lindsay with us on the first run of stuff because she likes talking to Bakken too, which is fun. He's good. He can't wear anything but robes. She can't wear anything but robes. And also I can sell that off. I'm just going through to see what stuff I can actually bounce out of here and keep. So remember, we do want to keep that emerald. So go back to your kitty. Drop off the stuff that you know you're going to keep and give to someone else later. I like keeping these things in tandem. So you can see that I have how many. This was the pieces of gear that was going to give me a story. He said find all 5. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing one thing. Okay? And I know what piece I'm actually missing. It's a broken staff. Shattered staff. And I don't know where it's at, but I remember the name of it. So, we get that 5th one of those. We can pick up these 4 items in the 5th one. And so we'll talk to the storyteller, and he will take all the items, tell us a magnificent, amazingly illustrated story, and then give us like a crap ton of XP, which is definitely worth doing. Here's our books 1 and 2. Bakken, part of his quest will be to get 1, 2, and 3, so we have 2/3 of it done already. And again, I can leave food behind. Oops, that's not food. Acid flasks are not food, brother mutant. My mom told me so. I don't know that you can use herbs ever again. So this might just be sell stuff. This could be used in food items for all I know, but remember, we use the herbs to unlock magical treasure chests. I have yet to see it be used successful another time after you get out of chapter 1. Now if that's wrong, I apologize for passing on wrong information. Feel free to stockpile that. You will find so many herbs that'll piss you off and be like, where's all the treasure chests I'm supposed to use these things on? And I don't think they exist anymore.
I'm there.
But it's what it is. Come over here. Notice. Rank up project. Loyalty +1 for meeting with the counselor. So we already got a bonus to our loyalty stat. We're up to a solid 22 now. Remember, that was our goal, getting it to 20. Success. Harem has a request. Didn't give us anything, but gave us a quest completion. Now, again, check our events. Nothing in the events, so no problems to worry about except for the ones that we're working on right now. A new project showed up, and that's the rank up project. Notice again how your picture has to be here. 14 days. Loyalty 1. I need Tristan to do it because it's his quest. He goes from a level 1 advisor to a level 2 advisor. Okay, so that's for later. And again, we still have our advisor that we're trying to shoot for here. Now go to regions. The last thing we'll do today. And see all these little dots? This is the outskirts that we took on. This is Oleg's area, remember? At the edge of this is where Oleg's is. Not that that matters. It's just another way station. And it's still there, by the way. So if you want to have a town that's real close to Oleg's, make one here or here. Like I said, I like putting things on the water or close to the water. These are all along this riverbank. There's one over here. No, there's a couple reasons for some stuff. Each location here is a different map. Okay, I can't tell you what the maps are. I just know that if it's near water, chances are I have a piers that I can put up, which is more economy. So I like having stuff along the river. But know some other things. Eventually in the game, you'll get to the point where you can teleport between towns. So literally, I can go here to my main town and say, oh, I want to teleport to whatever the hell I name this town up here in the outskirts. Maybe I'll call it Oleg's place. Or Svetlanaville to make her happy. Whatever. And you can just poop teleport. So now where do you want to be able to teleport? Do you want, again, to be able to teleport near Oleg's? So that when you teleport there, you can just hop out and go to Oleg's and, hey, buddy. And you're like there in like a hop, skip, and a jump. That's a valid option. Do you want to have good coverage? So like if I teleport from here to the farthest place away, that's probably this one, right? Maybe I want to be close to the next region. You know, when I want to teleport here so that I can get into Glenabon probably pretty easy. Maybe there's a path here. I don't know that, but maybe there is. Maybe I want to be on the edge of both of these, the North Nile Marches and Glenabon. Here's the perfect spot for that, and it's on the water. So again, on you for where you're picking. I can't tell you where to go. I can just show you where I'm picking. Usually I pick this one, and that's because it's actually kind of close to Varnhold, but also close to some stuff over here. I keep doing that, and I think that honestly, I think that's a bad spot. It's not that it's a bad pick per se. It's just it's not giving me what I wanted. So anything else really is a viable option. Like I said, though, I do want to be near water. So basically one of these guys, and I don't need to be as far over as possible. We'll have somewhere in the North Nile Marches isn't particularly big. So you can almost run through it in like half a damn day anyway. So if I put one here, My mother and your mother out washing clothes. My mother punched your mother right in the nose. What color was the blood? Purple. Purplen. Out you go with a dirty, dirty dish rag on your toe. There you go, buddy. Welcome to Trade Guard. We need BP to build it. So, can we purchase it? You better believe it. And we got all that influx of cash recently. So let's buy 100 BP. Okay. Now, build it. Oh, it's going to make me step out. Did I pick this one? I think that was the one I wanted, right? Well, it's the one I got. And now that's your next town. And again, you can rename it. Nothing's there. Again, it requires BP to make stuff there. We're not going to make anything here, but I want you to see stuff. Notice we haven't talked to Oleg yet, or Bakken yet, excuse me. And there's nothing in here that says Bakken's magical shop of kick-assery. So again, don't blow your wad until you go talk to Bakken. And then if you convince him to join you, which he will, then you'll come back here and again and try to make this building and say, oh, now it's suddenly on the list. So save your BP for that. So yes, I can make a pier, I can do other stuff, but there's not any real urgent need for anything. And I already have one rank up ready to rock and roll. And remember, I want economy more than anything. So if I'm going to build anything, I'm going to build piers. So I can always get that economy a little more juice. Getting it to 20 so I can rank up. Once we get that advisor from 1 to 2, that's going to be a boon. Okay. But last thing to show you before we leave. So that's all done. I know this video is kind of boring, guys. I apologize for that. But more's coming, and I'm probably going to record like 2-3 more hours later tonight. But I wanted to show you a couple things. One, first let's show you your bedroom. Over in the corner here should be your room. You can rest here just like always. Press the arm button just like always. It's just like when you're at Oleg's. This is where you'll teleport to. Notice, we got magic shit. I actually didn't know that. This is also your kitty again. I don't know why they give you 2 rooms with the magical box. Whatever. Point is though, always explore your area. If you dare. Like I said, I didn't even realize I had a magic flail +1 sitting over there, and that's something I can sell. That's like $600, and it will be not uncommon. And by the way, you can talk to your advisors, Valerie, Tristan, whatever, just like they were at Oleg's. So if you hadn't made the personal connection with them, you can do so now. Notice that there's 2 exits here. This one takes you to 3 choices. You can go to town, to anywhere in the town. You know, like, oh, I want to go to the overland map, or I want to go to the tavern, or I want to go to blah. You can do that. If you want to just go to the outside of the town, like just outside of this building, that's this one here.
In due time.
So this will take us to the open area with the vendors where they buy stuff from them. That's what we're going to go do, and then we'll call it quits. So let's see where we're at. Where are we at? Come on.
Hello, my savior.
Oh, cutscene.
You asked if we'd meet again, and here I am.
So, sugar lumps, the savior aroma of herbs and flowers, and the first thing that lets you know that your longtime acquaintance is here. The nymph looks at you in a strange way, like she's never looked at you before. By the way, there is a romancing quest for her, if I haven't mentioned it before. It's very difficult.
I see your fate has changed since last we met. Now you are the ruler who will determine the destiny of these lands. I am their living heart, the whisper of the wind, the strength of rivers, the luxuriant growth of the meadows. Do you wish to touch this power?
Oh my, she wants me to touch her growth. She is pretty awesome.
I will show you a place where we can finally meet in flesh, you and I. Deep in the woods, there is an old mossy ruins, long abandoned, nearly swallowed by the thicket. There is an old tree growing among the stones in the yard, which I remember as a seed. A shadow under its green crown I call my verdant chambers. Visit me there, my lord, and come alone. A nymph's reward awaits you.
Oh, yeah. 2 sexiest farm animals. Brown chicken, brown cow. Alright. We can talk to her. Don't need a reward. I was happy to help. Again, these specifically are ones that are tied to whether you want to romance her, so be careful what you pick. And some are nonsensical enough that I should say this. If you do want to romance her, go online, Wikipedia or Reddit or Google itself, and you will find the path to what you need to say at each individual step, because there's so many. And I only say this because if you really want to see the ending where you romance her, it's very difficult. Not that you shouldn't do it, but a simple misspeak at any of these times, multiple times, could result in she's just pissed, doesn't like you anymore. Just saying. So be real careful. If that's your thing, feel free to look it up ahead of time. And I don't mind stuff like that. Again, I'm not going to do it because, again, I don't particularly care. I'll romance somebody just out of sheer dumb luck, more likely than not. But by and large, her quest is the quest most people shoot for, and her quest is the hardest to achieve. So if you're that kind of person, I highly recommend you look it up. Don't just assume that you can just figure it out on your own, because you'll play for hundreds of hours to realize, oh hell, I screwed it up. So it's what it is. Look it up online. Just keep the little laundry list of what you need to say at the right times handy, and just make sure you do those things. I was happy to help. I'll see you soon in the Verdant Chambers.
So long. I will await you there, as the ground waits for spring under the heavy winter snow.
She's hot. I love her voice. Voice actress for her, I don't know who that is, but she's amazing. She does a lot of work. And rightly so. Notice we have 3 vendors, and the 4th over here, if I'm not mistaken. We have like a cleric. Yeah, Arsenault. And we have a Virgil, the armor and weaponsmith. That's not to say this guy doesn't have everything you need. Hassif's got most shit that I care about. Zarcy, though, is like the wizard caster tough, so she got the scrolls for the arcane. She'll have the scrolls. Arsenault has the scrolls for the cleric stuff, so she kind of replaces Jod in that regard. Hassif. See a dark-skinned, wiry man with a weather-beaten face and a happy smile on his face. He is dressed luxuriously, and his dark hair and neat mustache are exquisitely coiffured. Man bows to you, spreading his arms a little. Asaf the Absalom is happy to welcome you, Your Grace. Come take a look at the best wares we traveling merchants have to offer. Please come take a look. See what you got. And you can talk to him and stuff. We can do that later. I don't particularly care. I'm just here to sell loot, lighten my load, get BP, and that's again something you're going to commonly associate with cash. Anytime you sell something that that's this many BP, you will get to be that person when you play this game. Ascending order, just to show you, camping supplies. Don't forget your camping supplies. If you're going to go anywhere, at least take enough for the team once, in my opinion. Since we'll have a strong enough team to take double, I'm going to take double. I commonly go from top down for the priciest, just to see what kind of goods he has. We can't afford them right now. Bag of holding, very useful. And as soon as you can afford these items, the sooner you should buy them. Why? Because at certain points in the game, he will restock his shelves with new weapons and gear and shit, and maybe another bag of holding will be waiting there. Just saying. So if you want to have like uber carrying capacity, you don't have to worry about getting bogged down in the overland map or leaving treasure behind to have to come back and remember to come back and pick it up later. Having small bags of holding first. There's like 2 to 3 that you can get reasonably easy. We already have one now. We're going to get a second one before too long. And then the bags of holding, and then I think there's even a greater bag of holding in the game, if I'm not mistaken. So there's going to be plenty of carrying capacity for a small ragtag team like we have. Notice some of the cooler weapons he has. Stratagem. For those that are playing a Sword Saint, we're using a rapier. Remember, you want the crit fish, right? You want to have the high crit range. This is the highest crit range without it being a keen weapon. So this is your bread and butter. Anything that's an 18 to 20. Now, if you can say 18 to 20 times 3, or times 4, times 5 even, that's awesome. There's not a lot of those in the game. But this is a staple. Solid crit range, lane damage, but that's never an issue. Hell, if it was 1 to 4, I could care less. This is what you really care about for a Magus build. For the melee Magus builds, I should say. Notice that's agile. That literally tells you what that is down here. This is the kind of weapon that you want, so you don't have to purchase a feat called Fencing Grace or Slashing Grace. There's two different feats. One for fencing is for piercing weapons, like rapier, I believe, is piercing. That's what the arrow indicates. Slashing, think of like long sword, think of, I think short swords are considered slashing too. Some of them, you think they're slashing, but they're actually piercing, so keep an eye out for that shit. But the point is, if it's an agile weapon and you have weapon finesse on your build and you have a high dex stat, you're normally swinging with an attack bonus equal to your strength stat bonus, right? Well, now you have weapon finesse, and it's a finessable weapon, it says so right here, finesse wielding, and therefore your weapon finesse kicks in and you wield your rapier with your dexterity bonus, but that doesn't do shit for your damage. Agile or slashing grace or fencing grace is what gives you your dex bonus for damage. So agile weapons are invaluable until you get that feat, or just invaluable in general, so long as you're, again, a weapon finesser and a high dex build. You know, like Octavia. She's not a fighter in any way, shape, or form. She's a wizard, rogue type person. But if I find me an agile dagger, you damn well better believe I'm giving it to her, so she can stabby and get that really high damage with that, well, better damage anyway, with that dexterity modifier that she has. But stratagem's a solid upgrade. There's some stuff for your kineticists. I hate those guys. They're OP. They're way too OP in this game. Metamagic rods, of course, highly valuable, more so than the actual feats, in my opinion, unless you are a spontaneous caster, which I am not. Other stuff that buffs your stats, attack rolls, damage rolls, stuff that gives you armor, stuff that gives you different kind of armor, stuff that's just a straight bonus to saves, a variety of crap here. One of my favorites, like this one, Ring of the Beast King, the wearer's animal companion, if you have one, a +2 to their strength and dex. Now, we don't have an animal companion. We will find someone that does. One of the staples, though, on a solo run is the Cloak of Shadows. +10 bonus to your stealth check. And you gotta love this for the beginning of the game all the way to the end. If you're wearing this cloak, you are immune to the blindness effect and the dazzling effect. There's a lot of dudes at the end game that have blinding attacks. So this is something that I'll buy, and while I may not keep it on me for all times, like wear it, I'll keep it in the kitty. I get to an area where I see that my characters are being blinded, guess what's going on in my main character? Something that has blindness protection. But if you're soloing, this one's a staple for when you rest, because if you camp, you still have to camp to get your spells back and heal up and all that jazz. And if you're a team of one, how the hell do you cook, clean, prepare spells, protect the camp, do both watches and sleep and hunt? You can't. You can only do one thing. The one thing you're doing is probably stealthing. So you are the guy that's making the camp camouflaged. It's the only one you have. You'll have to have rations then to feed yourself, enough to feed you. Obviously, one ration per time you want to take a knee. And you want to have the highest stealth score you can, so that when you are camouflaging the camp, that stealth check succeeds, you are left the hell alone, and you camp all night long. This is the way to do it. So you put this on just before you rest. Then you take it off and put on your Cloak of Resistance plus blah blah whatever afterwards, most likely. And then you just leave this in the kitty for when you get ready to rest. Oh, time to switch back to the cloak. You'll see me do this a lot. Anything that buffs a specific stat. Fine example, another one. For a solo build, Trap Springer's Gloves, bonus to your trickery check, +5. Well, if I have gloves on that give me some other kind of buff, like my lesser gloves of dueling, I'll wear that all day long because I'm fighting. Anytime I come up to a trap, then I know I want to make the check, or like I can't beat it. Oh wait, do I got Trap Springer's Gloves in my pack? Sure do. Slip, and on they go, and I disable the trap. Yay, free XP. So you'll see me swap out gear a lot. With the team of 3, it's going to be less likely to be swapping out all the time. But there's really good stuff. Another fine example, +5 to perception checks. That's a solid bump to any teammate. And again, it's worn on the head, so you don't get to wear all the cool headgear. That's the only slot you get. But again, solid choices. So feel free to look through this stuff. I'm not going to waste your time anymore because this video's gone on long enough. But know that I will go through and I will ransack this place for some other key items. Weapons that do elemental damage are always nice. Ones that protect from elemental damage are always nice. So again, there's a variety of stuff that you can get. I will make a small shout out, I just saw it. If you're taking Tristan or Harem with you, or you have your own cleric, I should say, that does positive energy where you heal the team. Notice that you can wear this on their head, and this gives them a plus 1d6 to their heal, or their undead damaging ability. But it's the heal usually give a shit about. So if he's healing for 1d6, and then at level 3 he's healing for 2d6, then at level 5 he's healing for 3d6. You see how it's kind of lame still? Kick that on his head. Now it's 4d6. Now it's 2d6 jumps to 3d6. It's enough juice to make you want to have it. You'll probably find one in the wild eventually, but why not just have it is my take on that. So again, this would be something that I would probably purchase if I was taking Hiram or Tristan with me at any given time, but I'm not going to. Now, sadly, this video is over, but also sadly, I am going to level these characters up off screen. We'll talk about them when we take them back on the party so you can see what I've done, but I don't want to waste your time any more than I already have today, guys. But with that, my name is Brother Mutant. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.